Hello world, boyfriend back with the first pickup video of 2016. Happy New Year everybody. Got a lot of stuff to show. Let's get right down to it. I'm gonna start with this guy. So, it's the Sega Genesis plug and play special edition. I don't really know what makes it special edition, but why do I have this? Well, I'll tell you. I am doing something with the Cartridge Club called the One Console Challenge. If you don't know the Cartridge Club, it's kind of like a book club, but with video games. They play a different game every month, and they started this challenge for 2016 where you play one console all year. That's the only console you can play, and I chose the Sega Genesis plug and play. Now, it comes with 80 games on it. 40 of them are Sega Genesis games. 40 of them are like generic, plug and play type games, but you can also put in Genesis cartridges. So that's what I'm playing. I am like a week into 2016 right now. We'll see if I survive. It's going good so far, but that's why I got that. On to the box of goodies. Now, what I've been doing with the box of goodies is every time it fills up, that's when I know it's time to make a pickup video. So it's always full of a bunch of stuff. Where to begin? So last pickup video, I said that I got a toy and I showed it. It was a Dr. Light Mega Man toy, and I said I'm not going to fall into the habit of getting any more of these. It's addicting. I don't need to own all this junk, these toys. Well, I saw another one. I couldn't resist buying and seeing what else I could get, what the universe would give to me, and I got Iceman. So another Mega Man 1. I got Iceman from obviously Mega Man 1. So now I have Iceman and Dr. Light. I couldn't resist. Had to get one. So this pickup video is going to be very Super Nintendo heavy. As you know, I'm going for a complete SNES collection, and I have been getting very fortunate, I guess, with my Super Nintendo finds. I've been finding a lot of great stuff, so I don't have a whole lot of other systems in this video. However, I do have one for the GameCube, and that is the Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3 Limited Edition Preview Disc. Whew, that was a mouthful. But the reason I have this is it comes with the original Star Wars arcade game, which if you watch Girlfriend Versus, we recently played the Star Wars arcade game, so I got that just for that reason. That's why I own that. Next, I got a couple DVDs. So a while back, I showed Earthworm Jim. I've been going through these old cartoon shows that I love, and I had picked up like the complete series of Earthworm Jim on DVD. Thought that's kind of a fun thing to show. I thought you guys might like it. So I recently acquired another forgotten gem from the 90s that I used to love watching, and that is Gargoyles. Remember that show? Oh man, this show rules if you've never seen it. So this is the complete first season and season 2, volume 1. They are sealed at the moment, so I have not started watching it yet, but I'm very excited to have that. If you've never seen the show, you should check it out. It's a great show. Now on to, there's one more thing before I get to the Super Nintendo games. I happened to track down the Super Multi-Tap. Now this is the actual Hudson Soft multi-tap that came with Super Bomberman for the Super Nintendo. As you can see, it's got the 4 ports for controllers, so you can play all of your up to, I guess, 5-player games, because you plug this into the second controller port on the Super Nintendo. I'm very excited about this, because I looked at the list of 4-player games for the Super Nintendo. There's quite a few, and actually some good ones. Aside from Bomberman, you can do NBA Jam, which is a good one. You could do 2-on-2. There's some racing games out there, rock and roll racing you can do. So there's some fun 4-player games out there. I'm very excited to check that out. Of course, I can't play Super Nintendo right now because of the One Console Challenge for the Cartridge Club. So that's kind of unfortunate, but oh well. I said I was going to stick with the Genesis plug and play. Sticking with the Genesis plug and play. I can, however, one of the rules is you can, if you buy games for different systems, you can test them. So you can make sure they work, and for like a pickup video purpose, I can describe a little bit of it, but you can only test them for up to 5 minutes. That's the cutoff. So none of these games have been played more than 5 minutes that I'm about to show you. We are going to start with this guy. So If you've watched Retro Liberty, you may have seen them go to Frankenson, which is basically a giant warehouse full of nerd vendors. So if you want toys, movies, games, any sort of nerdy memorabilia, card games, you get it all here. And they've been there a couple times, and I got a buddy there. His name is Lewis. He's been featured, and he hooked me up big time. This guy always hooks me up when I go there. He knows I'm going for a complete set, so he's always looking out for me. And Lewis, I cannot thank you enough, dude. You hook me up so well every time. He's always cutting me a deal, and he's just generally looking out. I'll put he's on Instagram. He does a lot of claim sales. Follow him on Instagram. You can find some great deals for games. He's always putting stuff up. So make sure you follow. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to what Lewis helped me acquire this time. Start with this one, the Super Scope 6. So I've been putting off getting a Super Scope 6 for a while because I didn't want to just get the cartridge, because the cartridge is not the cool thing. The cool thing is the Super Scope. I finally, thanks to Lewis, have acquired a Super Scope. Now, let's see. Oops, this way. Put that on. And it's kind of like a bazooka type thing. You see that? So the Super Scope 6 has 6 games on it. That's why it's called the Super Scope 6. And there's a bunch of other Super Scope games. The Super Scope isn't really known for being the greatest. In my opinion, the Justifier that you play Lethal Enforcers with is much more superior than the Super Scope. However, it's very cool that I finally got a Super Scope. Thank you, Lewis. But that wasn't all that Lewis helped me with. No. He helped me get 4 more games, and they are as follows. Speed Racer. This is getting a little hard to come by. I don't know why. It's a terrible game. It is the choppiest racing game I have ever played. I mean, it is like 5 frames a second, it feels like. Oh, it's very difficult and just hurts your eyes playing it. Do not recommend that if you're looking for a good racing game on the Super Nintendo. Second game I got was Steel Talons. Now, I didn't really know what to expect from this game. It's, how do I even describe it? It's kind of one of those Mode 7 type games, similar to, I guess, Pilot Wings in look, except half the screen is taken up by helicopter controls, and you have to go and blow up. You know, you have missions and whatever. I don't know. It wasn't very fun. Also very choppy for some reason. I don't understand that. And then this one, Ignition Factor. Now, I didn't know much about this game. There is a Japanese only or PAL only, or a game that was never released in the United States. Oh my gosh, do you hear that? Are you kidding me? I'm like halfway through this. Guy's doing weed whacking outside. The gardener. Ah, jeez. Well, we're gonna fight through this because I ain't gonna do this take 2. Ignition Factor. You're a fireman. You're putting out fires. It's pretty cool. I didn't get a lot of time to test it or play it, but what do you guys think? You ever played this? Is it worth playing? It seemed kind of fun. And then finally, the creme de la creme, I guess, that Lewis hooked me up with was The Adventures of Kid Cleats. Now, if you know anything about this game is getting very hard to find. I've been trying to track it down forever. It's one of those sports games that's not actually the sport. So Kid Cleats, it's this kid that plays soccer, and you're not actually playing like a soccer game, like a FIFA type game or anything like that. You're using the soccer ball as a weapon, and it's kind of a platformer. So, you know, like Shaq Fu has Shaq, but it's not a basketball game. Or Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City is not a basketball game. It's kind of like that. It falls into like that category. Pretty fun. Super glad I found it. Thank you, Lewis. Follow him on Instagram. That's all I have to say about that. What else do we got? We got Bill Lambeer's Combat Basketball. Sports game, basketball game, kind of fun, little action-y type basketball game. Haven't played a whole lot of it, to be honest. We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. Remember that movie? Well, there's a game based on that movie, and it's terrible. Platformer, you're a giant T-Rex, you take up, gosh, like a third of the screen. It's ridiculous. A few more. Family Dog, based on the very short-lived animated series. Not a very good game. If you want to see more about it, my buddy Jay Dubious from Dubious Gaming did a great review. I'll put the link down below. Check out that review. Oh, subset complete. Sim Earth was the last sim game I needed for Super Nintendo. So there's Sim City, Sim City 2000, Sim Ant, and Sim Earth. Last one I needed. Very excited to complete that subset. Williams Arcade's Greatest Hits. So they had a Williams Arcade Greatest Hits and they had a Midway Greatest Hits. This one has Defender, Defender 2, Joust, Robotron. I can't see what the last one is. Anyway, little arcade compilation. Pretty cool. I like those. Street Fighter 2. Didn't have the original Street Fighter 2. I got Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Street Fighter Alpha 2. Still missing Super Street Fighter 2 to complete the Street Fighter 2 subset for the Super Nintendo. Woo! I said Street Fighter a lot. Now we're getting down to the good stuff. The uncommon, fun stuff. Ranma, 1/2, based on a manga or a manga. Oh my gosh, my brain isn't working today now. It's a fighting game. I love the art style and it looks really cool, but not a big fighting game guy, so I sucked at it. This one is an awesome game, out of this world. Pick this up if you get a chance. It's really, the closest thing I guess I can compare it to is Dragon's Lair, where you basically can't screw up or you get a game over and you have to start over again, essentially. You're playing through like almost a movie type thing, or like a cinematic, like they do that in new games now, where you have to like press buttons really quick and do that. What do they call that? Anyway, it's like that. It's a really fun game. I've heard a little bit about it, and it was always, I heard good praise about it, and I agree. It's very fun. Pick it up. This one I've been looking for a while. Kendo Rage. So this is a platformer, almost that cute 'em up style. What do they call that? Gosh, I can't think of any of the words I'm thinking of today. They're all on the tip of my tongue. But that very Japanese cartoony look that you see in games. That's Kendo Rage. It's pretty fun. 4 more. First of which, Virtual Bart, Simpsons game. I think this is the most uncommon Simpsons game out there. It's kind of a bunch of little mini games where you play as Bart Simpson. It's okay. Nothing to write home about. Here's a little run and gun action platformer. Super Turrican. So kind of like Mega Man, I guess, or like a Contra meets Mega Man type game. It's pretty fun. I don't like the camera in it. It's one of those waggly cameras that you turn around and it bounces back and forth. It kind of rubber bands, you know. But other than that, it was pretty fun. And this one I'd been trying to track down for a while. Breath of Fire 2. So the Breath of Fire series. This is not easy to track down. You know, I had passed on it a few times, and then it was like I never saw it again. And so I saw it. I was excited to get it. I'm not a big RPG guy, although I did play a little bit of the first Breath of Fire, and it was all right. What do you guys think? You like Breath of Fire 2? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, the creme de la creme. Now, if you follow Girlfriend Versus on Instagram, I've already spoiled it, so sorry for anybody who's seen that. But if you wanna get the info, the scoop, before it's on YouTube, like now, you follow Girlfriend Versus on Instagram, because I'm gonna start doing more of that. But without further ado, another big game for Super Nintendo checked off the list. In fact, it's the only unlicensed game ever created for the Super Nintendo. Do you know what it is? Super Noah's Ark 3D. Yeah! Or Super 3D Noah's Ark, depending on how you want to read it. Look at that weird cartridge. So how it works is you plug it into the Super Nintendo and you got to plug a game on top, like so, and that's how you play it. So you don't actually, like if I put Super Turrican on the top, it wouldn't play. It would play Super Noah's Ark 3D. Anyway, how I got it is the interesting thing. So if you watched the For the Win for the Portland Retro Gaming Expo that we just went to this year, I had bid on this in the auction and I lost. I didn't end up getting it. I was very disappointed. It was one of the things I was looking for. Well, one of my friends who watches the show, who coincidentally hosts a wonderful gaming podcast called The Frame Savers. His name is John. Check out The Frame Savers. I'll put links down below. It's a very fun gaming podcast. The two guys, they're both speedrunners of games, so they kind of got an interesting perspective on games. They just did a fantastic episode on Mega Man. I love Mega Man, everything Mega Man, so check that out if you get a chance. But anyway, John watched the video, knew his friend had a copy of this and was willing to get rid of it, so he contacted me. We worked out a deal, and now I have it. And if you watch the For the Win, I paid far less than what I would have paid at Portland. So a win all around. YouTube saves the day. Serendipity. That's what I call it. So that was very exciting, and that's how I came to own Super Noah's Ark 3D. Anyway, I'm gonna quit rambling because I'm sure this has gone on far too long. Happy New Year, everybody, and boyfriend out.